Mysterious Girlfriend X is an anime which ran from April 30th, I believe, to like July. It's a 13 episode anime. It's brand new. It's just finished, and it's not your typical high school anime. It kind of is, to be honest, but there are some elements which I will talk about later on in this review. But I gotta say, this is probably one of my favorite animes of this season, to be honest. Now, Mysterious Girlfriend X is about Tsubaki-kun. Sorry if I can't say the name right. You know me and Japanese names, no good. Who is a high school student, goes to school, and one day a exchange student by the name of Urube comes in. Now she's weird. She doesn't really do her hair. She's got a sort of emo fringe thing where she basically cover her head. You can't really see her eyes or anything. So basically, she comes into the classroom, and people begin to see her as odd and stay away from her. And Tobacco is kind of interested in her. And at one day, when he sees her sleeping and wakes her up, he looks into her beautiful face. And then when she leaves, he sees a puddle of her drool. He puts his finger in there and puts it in his mouth and he tastes it. Yeah, that's kind of weird. That's one of the themes of the anime, by the way. Then, after a few days later, he realizes he gets sick and he goes home. Urube then visits him and gives him some of her drool, saying that they are now connected by a bond, pretty much love, basically, that he was lovesick, and this is their bond, this drool. And so every day they walk home together, and she gives him his drool, and then they eventually go out, and now they're boyfriend and girlfriend. And that's what the anime is about. It's basically about these two characters, and it's their relationship. Now that's pretty much a massive summary of the plot, basically. Let's address this right now. The drool thing. This is a thing which kills this series off for a lot of people. A lot of people will just read it and say, nope, forget it, I am not looking into that, that's too weird for me. Really? It's done subtly and it's done very respectfully. It's not like a fetish thing at all, seriously. Obviously there is some sort of fetish thing behind it, obviously someone has that sort of thing, but it's not. It's actually done very well, and if you think about it, it's really cutting out the middleman. What it basically means is, everyone has said this, and I'm going to say it as well, when you kiss, there's going to be some exchange of saliva. It's just basically cutting out that part, or the kissing part, just going straight into it. And the drool in this is more than just that. It's actually like a transmitter. It allows Urube and Tsubaki-kun to actually transmit their feelings to one another, whether they're actually emotional or physical pain. So like, oh, he got bit on the arm. She can feel him, or he can feel him. You know, so it's like the special bond they have between each other. So don't think that it's some weird thing. It's not. It's actually very well done, and it's really part of the plot, and it does help to create more character development. Now, one of the things I really love about this is the fact that it's basically about a relationship. With anime focused around high school, it's usually that the boy character at the end of the series gets the girl. Pretty much saying that, oh, once you find that person you love, your life begins and it's happy ending. Or if you're like me and cynical, you'll think you've got a girlfriend. Your life has ended. That woman is the only thing that matters now. You have ended your life because you are now found the person you're going to be with the rest of your life. That is the end of your life there. Yeah, that's kind of a downer, to be honest, but you see what I mean? They always end the series when the guy gets the girl. It's like, oh yeah, happy families. But it's not like that. This is almost like a semi-realistic situation, okay? You're going out with this person, and, you know, there's going to be a lot of teething problems, shall we say, you know? They're like, yeah, we're going out. What do we do next? And that's one of the things I really love about this series, is the fact that it's just, by the first episode, they're together. Okay, the entire series is about their relationship, how they grow closer to one another. And by the start of this series, you don't really feel for their relationship. It's at that moment, like I said, teething thing where you don't know whether or not there's actually any sort of love or connection between the two. And it's even in the episodes themselves where there's no real connection. I mean, it's just nothing there. But as the series progress, they become more and more closer. Not only do the characters become closer together, but you even feel like they're developed quite well, and you actually are on that journey with them, becoming more closer, and eventually pretty much being like totally in love with one another. They just love being with the other person. You know, at the first part of the series, you don't really feel that as much, but as it goes on every single episode, it becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. So, animation quality. You look at it, it looks like it's straight from the 90s. I'm not even joking. This is me. I've said this many times. I'm not an animation expert, but just looking at it, I had this sense of nostalgia. It seems like the developers of this anime got into a DeLorean, put it to 88, went back to 90s, took this and brought it back here and just released it. It really looks like it's just taken straight out of the 90s, and you know what, I love that. It gives me like an old nostalgic feeling like when I was watching old anime back in the day, like say Pokemon, Digimon, Tenchi Muyo, other stuff that came out during the 90s, like Gundam Wing. It really felt like, hey, it's home sweet home, back into this old style, which a lot of people around my age got into anime when it was like, this 90s style. It's like, oh yay, 90s style again. There are these dream sequences throughout the series where Tabaki-kun is like asleep, and I'm not joking to you, it's like a mix between Alton Towers, bloody Michael Jackson's Neverland, and Japan rolled into one, and it looks pretty cool. These dream sequences actually convey a lot of what the characters are feeling, mainly Tabaki-kun, how he feels towards her. They're obviously perverted dreams. It's normal for people that age have that sort of dream about a female. So we sort of see that, and it's actually quite funny when she puts his finger in his mouth and tastes it, and she gets the feelings and the dream and everything in her head, and she gets all fluttery. So if you remember in my Listen to Me Girls, I'm Your Father review, you heard that I gave that anime a hard time because of the fact that it felt like an after school special. A little problem is in the episode, and by the end they've learnt how to deal with it, and they've grown as characters. Here, it's kind of the same thing, but the thing is, I allow it here. With Listen to Me Girls, I'm Your Father, if you watch that review, you understand why I had those sort of problems with that. But here, you really get invested in the relationship between Urube and the main character. You want to see them, mature, and you want to see them learn more about one another, and thus the characters become more and more closer. And that's the thing. You love this relationship between the two, the oddball girl and the normal kid. It's really great to see them sort of get closer, learn more and more about one another. Now, this is an ecchi, and there are some of those ecchi scenes, and obviously there's the obligatory beach scene that's there, and I don't complain about it, to be honest, but, there's those scenes. They're actually subtly used, I think it's not as bad as some other stuff out there, but it's there. It's not as bad as you may think because of the whole premise of this anime. It's very well done, it's nice, and it's okay. Now, there are some side characters, but the thing is, I really can't remember them. I know one of them was Tabaki-kun's mate, who was going out with this girl, who's also another side character who becomes Urube's friend. I don't remember the names. I can't be asked looking them up right now because I'm actually sick whilst I'm doing this review. So, and she's kind of weird. I mean, there's hints that she's bisexual. Because the fact that, she's really interested in Urube, and she even copies her, which I find that annoying. And she's a very annoying character, to be honest. And she's like, ugh. She's kind of like competing with them two, Urube and Tabaki-kun, with her and her boyfriend, if you know what I mean. Like, ooh, competitive a bit. They're not really in the series that much, they're there a few times, but really the main focus is Tabaki-kun and Urube and how their relationship grows. I mean, they go through ups and downs, and to be honest, those ups and downs are great. There are some really emotional moments in the series. Like, there's a part where Tabaki-kun meets an old crush that he had, and Urube saw, and he was worried that she was upset. And they do the whole, saliva thing, and he starts crying, and she was like, if you went with her, I wouldn't have been sad. I would have been, depressed. I would have cut myself or something. No, that's not a good joke to use. What am I? I'm a horrible person. That's what I am, yes. Oh, wow, I've gone nearly 10 minutes into this review, and I don't think I've even talked about the anime, to be honest. Okay, so, I'm going to have to end it now because, seriously, I'm feeling ill and I just feel like I need to get this review out as soon as I can. And I've talked about it for ages to other people. So, here's my final verdict. What do I think of Mysterious Girlfriend X? It's a fantastic relationship anime, and I think that if you're a fan of those sort of high school anime stuff, you're going to like this because it's not to the same conventions of them, it's going to be about a relationship. You're going to watch this relationship grow, the ups and downs of it all, and you're going to be really invested in this relationship. I know I was really invested in it, and I have to give it a rating of 8 out of 10. I wouldn't give it a 9 or a 10. I wouldn't give it a 9 out of 10, mainly because some of the side characters I didn't like, and there's one episode where I swear that one character makes Norman Bates look sane. I'm not joking. If you've seen that series, I think episode 10 or something, or 11, one of those characters makes Norman Bates look sane. I'm not saying anything more than that, just how it go. Anyway, you can watch Mysterious Girlfriend X on Crunchyroll. It's officially streaming there. All episodes are out there, so go check it out, and see you next time.